All right. Welcome, you guys. My name is Lisa. So, for this Wellness Wednesday, we are super excited. We're always excited for all our guests. But tonight, you get two for the price of one. We have two sweet friends that are going to share their story. So, as you know, October is Cancer Awareness Month. And so, we have two different cancer stories that we wanted to share with you guys. First, we're going to hear from a sweet friend of ours, Jana. She is going to tell us a little bit about her story, about how her cancer journey started, how it's going. She's going to talk about a little bit about how the products helped her before, during, and hopefully after. But mainly, we want to hear about her business, how it was able to thrive during a really tough storm. So many of us go through so many tough storms, and everybody's story is a little bit different. And just when you think you cannot go any further, you can't go on one more day, hopefully the grace of God and some friends will come along and help you take that next step, that next right step, to do the good work. It's hard work, but we are meant for doing hard things. And Rebecca and Jana can definitely attest to that tonight. So we are so excited that they are here. Jana, I'm going to let you have the floor. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey thus far.
All right. Thank you, guys. I am just so honored, honestly, just so honored to be asked to be here. And I just feel like Plexus has been such a blessing to me and such a blessing to my family. So when I get an opportunity to share, I just feel like I have no choice but to give back, because Plexus and the people in Plexus have been so, so good to me. So I am excited just to share a little bit of my story and where God has brought me the last several years, and the storm he has brought us through. So I started in Plexus in 2013, and there's a whole story there. I've only got about 15 minutes, and that whole story would take me hours to share. But just know I started in 2013, started just for the products. Like so many people, I just wanted a few products to help me on my health journey, to help me lose a little bit of weight. I found that, and in doing that, I found a whole community, and I found a whole business that honestly was one of the biggest blessings to my family. Again, there's a whole story behind all that, but that's for another night. But it has just been the biggest blessing to us, and was and still is. But it my business continued to grow. I started it at the end of 2013. It just grew and grew. I worked hard and worked hard, and it grew. And by January of 2016, I was able to become the top rank in the company. I was able to hit diamond. Thrilled out of my mind, still to this day, still hardly can believe that. And was just, honestly, just felt like we were just on a mountaintop. It felt like a mountaintop in our life. It felt that way for a while. It felt like I was at the best health I had ever been in my entire life. We were in the best financial situation we had ever been in our married life. Our kids were thriving. Our marriage was thriving. We just felt like, how you just have those time periods in your life where you're like, man, it finally feels like some things are coming together, and it feels really good right now. And that's how it felt about that time. Well, in January, 1 year later, 2017, we went through the worst day of my entire life. And that was when our 16-year-old daughter passed away in an accident. And sorry, I still get a little choked up talking about it. And so, as you can imagine, our world came crashing down. The mountaintop quickly became the valley, and it's been a roller coaster ever since. So we began to walk that journey. We began to walk out child loss and what that looks like, and the all of just the heartache that comes along with that. I have no words to even explain what that is like, and what it feels like to walk through that, and what it continues to feel like to walk through that. But we've done it. We've made it by the grace of God. We are still standing from that, and I'm so thankful to him for carrying us through that. Just when we thought things couldn't get any worse, in August of 2018. So just about a year and 8 months later. A few months before that, I had felt a lump and didn't really know what it was. When you hear the word lump or you hear the word, anything like that, you really don't know what that feels like or looks like until you've actually experienced it for yourself or seen it on someone else, I guess. But I did feel something. It felt like a little tiny pea. I didn't know what it was, and I honestly didn't think anything of it. I thought, well, I've been through a lot. My body's been through a lot. I'm just having, a cyst or something crazy going on. No other symptoms, nothing else at all. I finally went to my regular, just my GP for some other issues. As you can imagine, losing our daughter, I was just dealing with a lot, and that grief becomes a physical pain. And I was going in to see her for some other things. And as she went to leave the room, I said, "Hey, I've got one more thing. I've got a lump. A little knot. I think that's what I called it." I said, "I need you to look at it." That began a whirlwind of tests, biopsies, and everything else, MRI scans, everything else you can imagine. And I was very quickly diagnosed with stage 2 HER2 positive breast cancer. And I'll never forget that day. I was actually listening to a podcast earlier today where a cancer expert was talking about that. And that day, when that day happens, how the PTSD you still have from that day. And I was like, yes, that is what I have. You still have that day. I'll never forget it. I had the biopsy the day before. And my doctor said, "I'm going to rush these and try to get the results back to you right away." And I was sitting in a Sonic parking lot waiting for my daughter to get done with some tutoring when the doctor called me and said it is cancer. And I'll never forget that day. I was 41, very young to be diagnosed with breast cancer. And, I didn't know what to think. I was scared out of my mind. Just in complete shock, honestly, complete shock after everything we had been through. I went on to do, I guess, about 6 months of chemo, went through chemo, then had surgery, and then 33 rounds of radiation. Lost my hair, did all that fun stuff. And it was quite a journey. Looking back on it, you get diagnosed with something like that, and you think to yourself, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? I was taking care of myself until the loss of our daughter. And that's, I think, I honestly look back on it. And if you really dive into cancer and you dive into why people get cancer, so much of it is not genetics. People think that it is, but it is more all about nutrition. It's about lifestyle, and it's about your environment and stress. Stress plays a huge role in that. And so looking back on it, I think that was probably the root cause of my cancer diagnosis. But it's hard to know, hard to say for sure, but I do believe that with all my heart that was at the root of being diagnosed with cancer. So went through that whole cancer journey. I look back on it and I do feel like I walked through it very just kind of like a mummy, just like, tell me the next thing to do, tell me the next place to go. And all along we just prayed. We were at the bottom. I mean, we were just at the bottom of the barrel here, and we were just fighting for life. And I remember telling my husband, "Hey, we're just going to pray, and we're just going to tell him, God, we're just tired. So we're just going to count on you to put the right doctors in our path, put the right treatments in our path, guide us on the next step." And he was so faithful and so good to do that for us. And I was declared cancer free in then February of 2019. So that's when that's my official date that I go by. So I just hit about 3.5 years of being officially cancer free, had clear doctor visits, clear tests, clear scans, everything here just recently. So I'm proud of that, excited for that. But I wanted to share with you, I was so incredibly thankful for Plexus during this whole process for a multitude of reasons, but one of them was the products. And I get asked this all the time. People are like, what products, what products, what products? And that is a hard one to say because so much of it depends on your diagnosis. It depends on the chemo drugs. If you're on chemo, if you're on radiation, you know, there's so many treatments for cancer, and it depends on, you know, everybody thinks there's just chemo. Well, there's multiple chemotherapy drugs. So it depends on what drugs you're on, what treatments that you're on what you can take, what you can't take. So obviously, I always recommend you consult with your doctor. But I will tell you this, the one product I tell everybody, I'm like, I couldn't have made it without was my Active. I could not have made it without Active. Active was a life changer for me. I mean, it was a game changer for me. It just drastically changed things when it came to my energy, when it came to even my mental health, my mental clarity. You know, obviously chemo does a number on that, and it was a life-changing product for me. So I always say that. And then I go to an integrative medical doctor. And my first visit with her, I was sharing Plexus, you know, that I take Plexus supplements, and she was all for it. And she told me, she said, Jana, I will always have you on an omega product. I'll always have you on a probiotic, and I'll always have you on a multivitamin. And I said, well, ding, ding, ding. I've got all those covered. So I will never go a day without my Probio 5, my Mega X, and my X Factor Plus. So when people ask me products, I am proud to always recommend those 4. Plus, I have several other favorites. Obviously, I never miss a day of my Slim, but I'm feeling great. I am so, so thankful for, you know, just for coming through that journey and honestly feeling as good as I do, not having a lot of the long-term lasting effects that a lot of people do. And I really do chalk that up to a lot of my Plexus products and what Plexus actually has taught me about nutrition. I feel like I came into Plexus very blindly when it came to the nutrition world, when it came to the health world. And that's one of the best gifts Plexus has ever given me, is I have been so educated into this whole new world. And my eyes have been so open to this world of health and wellness from the inside out, not looking to put a Band-Aid on it, not looking to mask symptoms, but truly trying to get us healthy from the inside out. And man, that's like, if you don't have your health, you have nothing. So that is one of the best gifts I have ever been given. And I got that as a result of Plexus. I mean, truly through what corporate has given us, and then just what I've learned through my Plexus sidelines and my Plexus, you know, my Plexus friends. That's what we're about. So I love that. And I'm just so incredibly thankful for that. So something else that I just wanted to touch base on is I did mention earlier that I became a diamond in the company in January of 16. And by the grace of God, still a diamond today and going strong. My business is thriving. It has honestly thrived this entire time. And I look back on that and I think, man, like what other job could I have had that honestly, not just like where I could have tried to just hope and pray I could hang on to my job, but actually my paycheck grow. Like, how do you do that when you're walking through the grief that we walk through and are still walking through over losing our daughter, and then going through a cancer diagnosis? Like, how does that even happen? And I'm telling you, network marketing is the greatest industry on the face of the earth. Like, it truly is, for so many reasons. And so I made a couple notes I wanted to be sure I shared with you guys. So a couple things that I feel like when I look back on it, a couple things I feel like I did right from the beginning was going into this business and honestly just asking God to place the right people with me. I wanted like-minded people. I wanted people that shared the same values that I did. And I had prayed for that. And God truly, truly blessed that and gave me those people, and has just given me an amazing group of people to work with day in and day out. People that I enjoy working with, you know? And so I feel like doing that from the beginning actually set me up for those hard times, because I had the right people on my team. I had those people that we thought alike. We had the same goals. And then I think the other thing that really truly has helped me all along was, and I would encourage anybody that is building a business, if you're listening tonight, know your teammates' goals, know what their goals are. And so that was something going into this business. I always knew what my people's goals were. What were they shooting for? And so that then when things got tough for me, when I got down, when I wasn't able to show up, when I was out because I was sick with chemo or, just overwhelmed with grief, I was able to still say, hey, but you have a goal. You have a goal that you're wanting to reach. So what is your goal? You're not showing up to work for me. You're showing up to work for your goals. And so know your teammates' goals. If you don't ever establish what your teammates' goals are, then you are going to be very frustrated in this business. You're going to stay frustrated. So it's something I always go back to. When I feel frustrated, it's usually the fact that I don't know what their goals are. And so I don't know how to encourage them. I don't know how to train them. And I don't know how to push them to move further because I don't understand what that is. So that was something that I feel like was instilled in me from the beginning of my journey. And I feel like it's one of the few things I did right. I've made a lot of mistakes along this way, yet God has still continued to bless. He blesses despite our mistakes. Thank you. Thank the Lord. But I, one of those things that I do feel like I kind of did right along the way was just knowing what their goals are and knowing how to help them. So I just want to encourage you guys. One of the next questions outside of products, I get that question all the time, is do you have something can you tell me what products people can take? And I obviously I can't tell you what somebody can take. I can just tell you what helped me. But the other question I get all the time is, how do you make a comeback? If you're working this business and you've gone through a hard time, whether it was something like mine or your own hard time. And we all have different stories. We've all experienced difficult times. And if you're in this business long enough, you're going to, that is life. And so my journey is not going to look like your journey and vice versa. But if you stay with it long enough, you're probably at some point going to find a need to make a comeback. You're going to have something happen in your life where you're going to have to step back. You're going to have to take a breather, and then you're ready to make that comeback. And I think we often make the comeback. I think it often feels harder and feels more overwhelming than it did in the beginning when we first started. I know for me it has. And so there's really three things that I feel like I tell people. That one is, don't overthink it. Don't overthink your comeback. If you're at that place where you're like, I want to start back, I want to get back to working, don't let pride hold you back from thinking, oh, everybody's going to think I haven't been around. Everybody's going to wonder where I've been. They're probably not thinking that. They're probably just going to be thrilled to see you show back up. So don't overthink it. Don't let pride get in the way. The other thing I tell everybody is, don't announce it. If you are working and you're ready to work again, and maybe you have taken that long break, whether it was a month or whether it was 2 years, don't announce it. Just start working again. That's the beauty of this business. You don't have to show back up at office and say, hey, I'm back. You know what? You just have to start working again. That's it. So don't overthink it. Don't announce it. And the last thing is just to do it. Just make the comeback. Just do it. It's actually, once you jump back in, once you get your feet wet just a little bit, you're going to find it's a whole lot easier just to jump back in and get back to work than you're making it out to be up here, because this right up here is our worst enemy. So don't overthink it. Just jump back in the waters, and I guarantee you're going to have a team of people ready to welcome you with open arms and ready for you to make that comeback. So I'm thrilled that I did. There was days I thought, I don't know if I could ever go back. I don't know if I ever want to go back. You go through the difficult times of feeling that way, but I'm thankful for the family I have here. I'm thankful for the community that God's blessed me with. And that was part of the reason I was like, I'm making the comeback, because I need that community. I need those people in my life. And I love the business. I love our products. I love that we get to offer people true health and wellness from the inside out. And we just have developed such a beautiful community of people that that just truly love you through those hard times. So I'm incredibly, incredibly thankful for that. So I just want to thank you guys for letting me share tonight. That was fast. I feel like I just went fast through that.
Oh, friend, we would
Appreciate
just give you the whole night if you needed it. We love hearing from you. And I'm so glad that you talked about the comeback. There are so many people that are so paralyzed because they don't know how to come back. They don't know how to announce, hey, I know I've been gone, but I'm back. Love that you were able to just share that and just take that next right step and just come back. Because some people may not realize you've been gone as long as you were. And so to bring attention to that
Yes.
may defeat everything that you're trying, not to do. And I love that you talked about community. I know, and I know Rebecca knows that the Lord made us for community, for fellowship. And I love that we have found that here. I love that we are a community, a team, I would say, that One Plexus team. I feel like we all have embraced that. And I'm so glad that you have felt that during some unimaginable pain and hardships. And I love that because you don't get over trauma, you don't get around it, you don't go under it. We see that you have gone through this with the Lord's help. And I hope, and it seems like that's where the healing that it seems that you've experienced is that good healing, because you have been able to walk through it with your sweet family, with your team, with your God. And so I love that you brought that to our attention, because that is a great reminder that we all need, because we're all in need of a savior. So we're so thankful that you reminded us of that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Sweet Rebecca. So Rebecca has a very unique story as well. And it's not her cancer story, but I'm going to let you tell them about your journey through hard times and how this community and this business was able to be there for you during those hard times and moving forward as well. So share with us a little bit about your story, Miss Rebecca.
Yes. So I signed up in fall of 2014. And my father was actually my very first ambassador. Like the day I signed up, he was a Methodist preacher, and I called him and I thought, oh dear, please don't let him think this is a crazy idea. And because my daddy you knew what my father was thinking. And so I called and I was like, Dad, I need you to know what I'm about to do. I was like, I've been taking these products, they work. And I just met with some girls and they are making really great money, and I'm going to sign up and I'm going to do this. He's like, yeah, baby, let's do it. And I was like, let's do it. Okay, let's do it. So I signed him up immediately. And I remember Julia being like, okay, let's keep going, because I signed up beside my dad, and there we go. And that was in October of 2014. And I was excited and things were good. And beginning of December, I got the flu, and we thought I'd been with my father, so we kind of thought he got the flu, and that's what his doctor thought. And when I got better, and then he didn't get better, and David was not exactly a rule follower, so he called and he was like really, really sick. And I was like, Dad, you need to go back to the doctor. Long story short, that night they diagnosed him with acute myeloid leukemia, and so immediately he went into treatment. Immediately, like the next morning, he was at UAB, and we knew it was like life-threatening cancer. They did like leukapheresis that day, and like he would have been dead by the end of the weekend had he not gotten to UAB for the leukapheresis. Like they said, do not stop and get toiletries, like drive to Birmingham. And so that was very startling. Like he was in the pulpit on Sunday and dying like the days later. And so I was a brand new ambassador. Like I was not silver. Okay. And so December 23rd is when he was diagnosed. And I'm trying to think, a couple of months later, well, actually the next month, because we were in such turmoil, I found out I was pregnant. Oh, let me add, was working full-time in corporate America. Okay. So I was working full-time in a job I loved. I was pregnant unexpectedly with my third, and he was dying and being treated in Birmingham where I was. And so I signed up. I was still continuing to just do the things. I was continuing to post. I was continuing, and it was something that for me, like as I would go in to his room when we knew he was terminal, like to get to the chase, he ended up dying in 8 months of being diagnosed. Okay. So I would be able to go into his room and I would be able to talk like about something besides like, so what do you think you're going to ask Jesus when you get there? Like, hey dad, we have 50 people on my team. Like, I actually distinctly remember saying I have 50 people, and me and him both sitting there like 50, like I never thought Diamond, much less 50, like, so the cool thing was though, as I continued to sign people and go, it took me, I think 6 months to go silver. As I continued just to do the daily steps of working my business, those that joined me in the journey, when they, like Janice said, like, hey, know their goals, they knew what I was walking through and I knew what their goals were. And they would call and say, guess what I did today? And they were excited to have something else to talk to me about too. Right. So it's so healing in the fact that like you're walking through this horrible situation, and it offered in an interesting way just a neat little escape to be able to talk about something exciting, for him to see me chasing goals. And obviously the reason I started was because of the products. I actually never dreamed I would ever do the business, but it was fun to kind of he had an entrepreneurial spirit, so it was really cool to kind of show those different things. But something that is just overarching in my business period is these like-minded individuals that and I hate to just say women because there's fantastic men too, but the fact that Jana is not even on our team, and like when I can tell you where I was sitting when her daughter had her accident, like the room stopped to pray. Like I could cry about that now. Like the fact that I was in corporate America for 13 years, and like the faith, I mean, I had great friends that love the Lord there too, but like the faith of the people, it is no mistake that the three of us are sitting here right now. It is no mistake that Plexus was put in each of our paths. It's no mistake who's watching today. Like if you were sitting here thinking, this is where I was 8 years ago, I need something different. I need something different for my family. I'm exhausted. I don't want to be exhausted anymore. I don't want to be sick all the time. I don't want to be giving my children the rest of me or what was left of me. I wanted to start the products to feel better, to not be sick all the time. And then when I knew what the business could do, I wanted to start the business so that I could shift out of a desk job and be able to be there for all the things. I wanted to pick my kids up from school. I wanted to not miss the summers, so the business being able to fit into all that has just been the greatest gift. And if you know my story now, I'm still 8 years into this. And a year ago, we started fostering twins, which has nothing to do with cancer, but it has everything to do with another hard season. And, children do not enter foster care because they're just thriving, healthy babies. Like that, the baby started in this world with their own little stories, and it has been hard. And here I am again in another hard season, but there's been nothing more beautiful than, the women that have, linked arms with me and prayed for my family and helped carry me. So I can't go without saying, in the hard seasons, if you're considering the business, it has been such a gift to get me, to where we are today, to get me healthy so that I could, my third pregnancy was my best as far as weight gain and energy. And when you said active, it wasn't around when I was pregnant and dad was dying, but I arguably cannot do life without active. I can't have 5 kids without active. I can't do it. And I have to say, since we are talking about cancer, we lost a precious friend on my team, Heather Bryan, this year, and she was a Plexus ambassador. And one of the last conversations I had with her, she was like, Rebecca, I'm struggling to stay hydrated. How many hydrate can I drink? She loved hydrate, and it tasted good to her. And if you've been through chemo, if you find something that tastes good, then that's what you're going to do. Right. And so I love that even in her journey, it didn't end how we wanted it to, but that was something that she enjoyed. And I just, so there's so many little products that really can support along the way. So just my biggest thing that I want to leave with is, in the hard seasons, keep going. Like, if you do what little bit you can, and sometimes actually now that my newest hard season is the one where I'm like, days will happen. Like Lisa was saying earlier when we were talking about the call, she's like, well, I told you on this day, I will have days I'm like, I don't really know what I did today because I'm so busy with 5 kids. But if I keep going and I do what I could do in that day, and if I don't quit, don't stop. Like, people don't think about me as much as I think they think about me. They don't know if it's been 3 days or a week, or if you've taken a break for a year. Like, don't beat yourself up. Just when you can pick yourself back up, keep going. Don't quit. Like that is the biggest thing, because you're not going to find better corporate. You're not going to find better products, and you're sure not going to find better people than we are. But truly, like, the Sideline Sisters, the community, it's just not better. It's just not. So thank you all who have joined us tonight and listen. If you're catching our recording, thank you so much for your time. You are here and hearing these stories for a reason. And I pray that you trust that the Lord carries us through all the seasons in these unfathomable circumstances. And, grief is an everyday. The best description is waves, and we never know which wave is hitting that day. We don't know if it's a red flag or which flag's coming, but just know that he carries us through, and don't give up. So thank you so much for everybody. Lisa, if you have anything to say, I'll let you kind of end that, but thank you so much, and enjoyed sharing.
Thank you so much. I could not have said anything better to really just verbalize, to just to emanate exactly how I feel about this community, these products, this opportunity, than these 2 ladies right here. I am so sorry that they had to go through what they did to be able to get to this place of wisdom, but they're so right, because you never know when your hard time's going to come, because if the storms haven't found you yet, unfortunately, they're probably on their way. Or maybe you went through a storm and maybe didn't realize it, but storms are coming every day for us in some shape, form, or fashion, because the Lord said that, he never promised us easy times. He just said that his burden is easy and his yoke is light. So he's going to be there for us. And I truly agree with these ladies that we're not here by accident, that we were here for a reason. And hopefully that we're all here to be able to make a positive difference in the lives of others. And I know that this call has definitely done that for so many people. So thank you, ladies, so much. I'm so appreciative of y'all. Blessings on your family so much for the time that you have given to us tonight. Thank everybody for watching. I pray that y'all have a really blessed night. We'll see you next week.